wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will feel happen like I got blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. You can tune in from work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na na na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will feel happen like I got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for today, Wednesday, the 16th of October, 2024. Mose, Hyde in studios. And I want to welcome you all. You're listening to Creme Radio, you're watching XTV. It's great having you here. Those on our apps, those on our social media streams, those getting us via simulcast. It's great that you are on board and we're ready to lift off. You know how it works. We trust that you have gotten up this morning with great health. Mine's gonna be shaky, but when I push through, we hope that you have highest energy level, your vibration is positive, and that you got enough time in your morning, enough space in your morning routine to be able to link with us and get engaged and tell us what's going on. You know how this works. This is WB, beloved people. Right now, we start off with what we call the warm-ups, which means that we get you up to date with a little bit of news. But first, we need to know what the weather is doing, so for that we turn to the National Met Service and forecaster Catherine Cumberbatch to give us today's weather forecast.
Good morning, Belize. A relatively moist airflow continues to linger over our area. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for sunny skies today with cloudy spells, along with a few showers or isolated thunderstorms to develop mainly along the coast at first, then move to inland areas by afternoon. High temperatures today will range from 86 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 92 inland and 77 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be cloudy with a few outbreaks of showers and thunderstorms to develop mainly over southern areas and along the coast. Low temperatures for tonight will be 78 along the coast to 72 inland and 65 in the higher elevations. The winds will be light and variable at first, then later the winds will blow from the northeast at 5 to 10 knots. The sea state will be slight. A high tide will occur at 9:05 a.m. followed by a low at 3:04 p.m. and then a high occurs at 8:55 tonight and a low at 3:43 in the morning. The sun rose at 5:46 a.m. and set at 5:29. The moon comes up at 5 this evening and set at 5:49 tomorrow morning. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for some outbreaks of showers and thunderstorms along with periods of rain to develop over most areas. In the sargassum forecast, sargassum amounts are expected to remain low with only minimal impacts, if any, during the next 1 or 2 weeks. In the tropical weather outlook, showers and thunderstorms in the southwestern Caribbean Sea are associated with a broad area of low pressure. This system has a low chance of developing during the next 48 hours. The National Meteorological Service will continue to monitor the progression of this system. Also, an area of low pressure located over the central tropical Atlantic is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This system currently has a low chance of developing into a tropical cyclone during the next 48 hours. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Tuesday, as the child fell into the canal in the vicinity of Fairweather Street, the child, identified as Shaquille Wade, was reportedly in the care of a babysitter when he went under in the zero visibility water. Residents joined forces and labored for hours to try to locate him. It was not until after 6, when heavy-duty equipment was brought in, that his body was located. Belizeans across the country are reeling from the news and consider it a reminder of the need for constant vigilance of our children. Belize authorities are monitoring the southwestern Caribbean Sea, where there appears to be potential for the development of a tropical cyclone later this week. A release from the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Tuesday indicates that while current chances of formation remain low, the situation could still evolve. The release states, in a worst-case scenario, a tropical depression or storm could form by Thursday or Friday, moving over northern Nicaragua or Honduras, weakening before its remnants passed over Belize late Friday into Saturday, bringing moderate to heavy rainfall. NEMO and the National Met Service advised they will continue to monitor the situation and provide timely updates through their official channels. In the meantime, they add there's no need to panic, but note that we're still in the hurricane season. 24-year-old Edwin Marin, who was the suspect behind the double murder of his ex-girlfriend Deja Hall and her mother Natasha Clark on September 9th, has been found dead. His body was located Monday night just after 10 at an illegal entry point some 2.5 miles from Pachacan village in the Corozal district. There were signs he had been tortured. He had injuries to the face and the back of his head, and his hands were tied behind his back. Reports are that duct tape and a bloody plastic bag were found near the body. Marin had been on the run since the double murder, which occurred shortly after his release from prison. Reports are that he had gone to Hall's house, where he got into a confrontation with Hall over the custody of their daughter. He left only to return moments later and fire at the two women. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams provided the media with an update on the discovery and said they would seek assistance from their Mexican counterparts.
They encountered the lifeless body of one Edwin Marin, a person who was wanted for a double murder in Corozal town and was being sought by the police for a couple of weeks now. Initially, we got information that he had fled the country to Mexico, and he was being sought both in Belize and Mexico for the purpose of being charged for the double murder in Corozal. But his body was found right on the border crossing area with injuries consistent with him having been beaten to death. That's a matter that the police is looking at this time, trying to verify if he was killed in Belize or in Mexico side and was dragged over to the Belizean side. So we're looking at it. The body was found in Belize, and so it is going to be reflected on our murder stats. We certainly will require some assistance from the Mexican side in terms of the investigation. So we're just going to coordinate with our Mexican counterpart on that matter.
Williams said police believe Marin may have been killed by cartel operatives.
That is a possibility. It is one of our suspicions as well. But in the absence of empirical evidence to that effect, we just have to look at it as a murder and investigate it to see exactly who are behind it.
Shian White, Natasha's brother, said the family feels relieved at the news.
To be honest, relief, like, just knowing that this guy was still out there, like nobody in the family could really sleep well because he's a dangerous person, and we know what he was capable of, or even if he was, come back, and because initially his threat was to do away with the whole family. So we even had my mom even had to change residence and had to do all these different plans just because of that, just because he was out there. So knowing that he's no longer around us actually give us some peace of mind and some closure for this horrible incident. Obviously, our biggest concern was for my niece's little daughter. She's now completely orphaned after this incident. So we were concerned about him trying to come and get her or something like that. So yes, of course, this gives us some relief and some peace of mind also.
The Camara family from Corozal are relieved that father and son duo, Louis and Johan Camara, were returned safely after being briefly abducted across the border in Quintana Roo. Not many details have been released upon their return, but Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says police believe cartels may have been involved, but assure Belizeans that the country's security forces remain on high alert in the north.
Yes, from what we have been made to understand, that kidnapping did have to do with the cartels in Chetumal, and we are happy that the outcome is what the family and the entire Belizean society had hoped for, that these two individuals were returned home alive. I can say with certainty that the family, the father and son who were kidnapped, from our records, they are not persons of questionable character. They seem to be outstanding people. And so that had puzzled us as well in terms of why would they have been kidnapped. But nonetheless, we're happy that they have been returned home alive and well to their families. And again, Belizeans going over to Mexican side is something that we have to look at and decide on our own if it is that we want to go or not. The cartel issues in the Chetamal area is certainly intensifying. We maintain our strong presence in the Corozal and Orange Walk districts, in particular along the irregular border crossing area. Our northern operations have been very, very effective in keeping the cartels and their operative at bay. It is not to say that our efforts cannot be infiltrated, but I can say to you and the Belizean people that it is going to take a lot for that to happen.
In honor of Caribbean Statistics Day, the Ministry of Health and Wellness yesterday released a set of statistics from data it collects. Among them is information regarding road traffic accidents. According to the ministry, 89 RTAs were recorded in 2023, resulting in 103 fatalities. Of those, 37 were motorcycle riders, 21 were pickup occupants, and 14 were bicycle riders. That's the end of the morning news we bring to you to start WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We take ourselves a small break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to lift off in conversation. You are listening to Creme Radio, you're watching XTV. We'll be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Wednesday, it's the 16th of October, 2024. Mose Hyde hosting today, and we want to welcome you all back. We are now open for the business of conversation, and you can link with us by calling the number on the screen, 280-5848. Well, if you're listening, you don't have a screen, I understand. Link with it. Belize, we open for conversation. We are being streamed. We got to remind you that we are still celebrating the fact that we've returned to YouTube. Still on, still not in the doghouse yet. Easy she goes, knock on wood, they say. We need you to support us by, once you are linking us on YouTube, make sure you just do that one small least step of solidarity. It costs you not a single penny or inconvenience, because it's not like we are going to come at you because you're subscribed. It's the word subscriber kind of affect people mentally and they think, oh, you're not subscribed for anything. It costs. Yes, it costs you the time that it takes for you to do it, right? But you have to understand this is a two-way street. You build your relationship with your content provider, with your information provider, and you have a part to play. And it's not just with this media house. This is what content is now in 2024. And they have to have your way how you give back. And we're saying give back by subscribing. Right now. That's all we're requiring of you. Give back by subscribing. YouTube channel, XTV Belize. Or follow us on Facebook, as well as Creme Radio. Dance with us. Stick with us. And let it be official. Don't be a WUB, don't be XTV, don't be Creme Radio. And you're going to make it official, right? Yeah, post it. Subscribe, make everybody could see it. Good. Remember, the number is 280-5848 on this Wednesday morning. And let me just take this opportunity, so many have, who have, obviously, many people have been very saddened by the very unfortunate tragedy that took place here in Belize City sometime yesterday evening, where a 6-year-old child died as a result of falling into a canal. And, it's, you're a parent and you feel it. It could be your child, we understand. And so people are very, collectively we are traumatized, but I can't imagine where the parents and the family of that child are experiencing right now in this very moment. And that is what I have to think about and say there are no words that we can give you to make you feel any less the pain that you're feeling. This is not possible at all, and we understand that. But what we do know, and we stand in solidarity with those who have collectively felt it and are along with you, though we can't feel what you are feeling. We're all affected. We feel for you, understanding without even knowing the child, what a child is to a family and to a parent and to parents. Possible siblings, classmates, neighborhood. It's devastating. And final, that's the terrible part. Unfortunately avoidable, but difficult. Trust me, as a parent, I can tell you, a 6-year-old child is full of energy and full of wanting to do. And to those who are so self-righteous that they can't help take this moment for anything less than an opportunity for shaming and lecturing and condemning parents without any knowledge of the details, without knowing their story, come on, that should not be our rush. Our rush should be to offer our best, sincerest condolences and feelings of solidarity at this unimaginably difficult moment. Like, that should be what we are rushing to do. It's this is hard. This is crushing. And we don't even know the child. Imagine what the parents are going through, the family, the neighborhood, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, if they're still alive, the classmates, the teacher. Oh, rough. I am, it's still something out of this that you look on and you say, all the people who feel it and who have been expressing it, who have called in, who have written stuff of just how much they're affected by this. It's, in a way, it is that spirit of community at the worst moment for someone, for them to know, like, we now can't walk in your shoes, but trust me, we do feel this along with you. And so to that family, we might not know you, but I can tell you, just based on conversations, just based on things I've read, there's a lot of people, a lot of good people who, without judgment, just can feel your loss for you. And your loss is our community's loss, because there's nothing more priceless than a child, right? It's a true treasure, a true responsibility. And we know that, listen, there's a very small number of parents in the world that will not take themselves through nightmarish type of self-beating over this. They don't need anybody to jump in and say that it's their fault. This is not about fault, this is about a loss. We have to assess again the reality that we do have these unsafe places, and we do have these dangerous places generally without signs, right? And again, the one thing that I would observe is that it would appear, based on the reports that I've read and listened to, that it really was the effort of the community with very limited access to means to do a search to try to get a child out of obviously what would be I don't know the depth of this thing, but I imagine it must be shallow with mud. That is, to try to find a child in that, who do you really call, right? And it doesn't appear that they were able to call immediately or have immediately at their disposal and response a real legitimate emergency response situation. Yes, you don't have a long time with a child that's dropped in the water. You don't have a long time. We understand that. But still, it would appear that, resources and manpower didn't, and expertise manpower did not show up until very late. At least that's just based on what I've read. I can't say that that's definitively so, just based on the reports that have been given so far. And we have to be reminded about how do we do the small things to make spaces safer for children, with signs that help children, not only the children, but the parents and the caregivers, those responsible. We're reminded that these things matter, but it's heart-wrenching, and we all felt it. The news has affected us. As parents, we can think what it would be like if it was our child. And it's really a terrible thing. And to that family, we say we wish you the strength, and we wish you the resilience to somehow heal, but we know that that is not today. Not today, not tomorrow. That's a journey. we hope that it's a journey that you will have the strength and support and the faith to be able to do. A terrible, terrible incident, and really, really, I know that it's really saddened many, many people. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, a couple of minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, 16th October. Sad Wednesday morning, dealing with that news. Just to have the young life just to be lost, you know, like that. Terrible. And again, I just want to just double down on, like, if you've posted some kind of scolding post about the parents and how, you know, just judgmental, just chewing up of the parents, not even knowing everything, just automatically aware with it, you know, all these comments. Like, take them off. Could you imagine? And I can't imagine. Like, in their shoes, I would not look at social media, because you will see all different types. Of course, you're going to have many people who have posted really supportive and heartfelt sentiments, and you want to access those, you know, and at this moment. But then you also have those where it's just I don't know how they could think that this is somehow right to do. No, we're not do that. No need to do that. Just so you know that that type of thing can happen. It happens so quickly. It doesn't take any. You would say, sustained negligence for you to have an incident with a 6-year-old child, especially a boy with, you know, is active. Like, we into things, we into adventurous, exploring things, risky things, walking on ledges, climbing on limbs, like, you know, and many a way, at that time, you know, you do things and you wonder why you do it now. You reflect like, oh man, but it's just, that's the age to find out about the world around you, and you have all the energy to do it. It's not like we, you know, struggling to get out of bed people. It's, you know, when you're young, you're in 6 years old, whoa, you cannot be stopped. It's how yourself. They might as well put you think about put one rope on you and tie you down. It's not easy. So there's no judgment, you know, unless some detail emerges where there was some real out of order level of negligence. Like, you know, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know how you all feel. I know that, you know, when this happens, some people just feel the need to want to blame, because there has to be a reason why this happened. It's fair to want to see how we can learn from something to prevent it from happening again. So we want to know, like, you know, it's not like children don't have to be in this same space today and going forward. This same waterway that presents itself, it's a legitimate. Everywhere you have an open water place is a risk, it's a danger to children, in particular ones that don't know to swim. But you do have circumstances where it's not just about swimming. So we have to have a level of respect for that. We just want to just share in that moment and to say how much we really are in solidarity with that family. It's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock inside the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. And while we're on the topic of tragedies, we've spent multiple mornings talking about the high prevalence of motorcycle accidents and motorcycle-based fatalities. We had some statistics come out, shared, and apparently World Statistics Day or something to that effect by the health and wellness people who we feel should be a part of the response team to the crisis. And confirming that last year we had about 37 out of the 103 traffic related fatalities. 37 of them were motorbike incidents. And we know that we are probably already at that level for 2024, and we're in mid-October. And it seems almost every week we are guaranteed to come here and have to read a story. In fact, we have to read additional stories about more just over this weekend. And we have the commissioner on the record responding to it and saying what they're doing. And while the police has a part to play, enforcement has a part to play, their presence on the road, controlling unsafe habits of motorbike riders, making sure everybody's a licensed motorcycle rider, making sure they have on helmets, making sure that they're not renegade riders. It is not the responsibility alone of the police department. In fact, I don't believe it begins there. I think it begins, of course, with the Ministry of Transport, and it also includes the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And so over the past 2 weeks or so, I've kind of just been looking at articles about motorcycle safety from around the world. And I have read articles based on research and studies done on the level of motorcycle deaths in a place like Indonesia, where percentage of people on motorbikes is extremely high. Malaysia, in Asia motorbikes are like motorbikes and scooters are like maybe even outnumber cars. South America, Latin America, but particularly South America, Brazil and those places, again, a very popular means of transport. I've read articles about that. I've read articles coming out of Philippines on some of what they are advocating for. So the matter of motorcycle fatalities are not a Belizean thing. It is a worldwide concern because statistically, not only in Belize, motorbike and scooter riding usage is going up. It's convenient, it's less costly. If you can think about it in deep macroeconomic terms, where you can look on the fact that more people riding motorbikes is actually better for the economy because we are spending less on fuel, which is a foreign exchange maniac. Fuel is a foreign exchange maniac eater. So when you are reducing the amount of fuel that we're using by using motorbikes and not using some 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder, whatever, again, without you realizing it. So there are many reasons why motorbike riding and usage makes sense, but it does involve higher risks. And so these countries that I've mentioned, and you can go online and read some of the stuff, they are assessing, they are studying, and they are trying things. They are focused on the problem. Again, while conceding that it's possible that there are people right now who are going to get up this morning in their respective offices in Belmopan and all these various agencies and authorities who have this as a matter they are looking at, it's possible. Thing is, we don't hear you, we don't see you, where you there? Like, this has been in the news. We talk about it now for almost a month and a half. Like, and every time we talk about it, it's almost like we bring on more fatalities. And the only person, and because he was asked, that has had anything to say about it, by the commissioner. And that's nothing new because the commissioner talk about everything. Whether you like it or don't like it, for better or worse, that he's a walking news-making, insert-giving machine. Yeah, newsrooms are practically right now in 2024 built around commissioner of police interview. So the fact that he talked about it is kind of natural, and they have a part to play. And like I said, I can observe them when I check the checkpoints that they seem to have a specific emphasis on dealing with motorbike riders. But the thing is that this, if you go and check, I'm talking here current articles and studies from around the world are right there to make you understand motorcycle fatalities there all over the world as a high level concern. Obvious reason, a lot of productive young human resources are being snuffed out way too early because of this situation. And you can't say, well, the way if you fix it, if you stop people from riding motorbikes. That's not even possible. In fact, there are arguments that can be made that motorbike riding is healthier economically. And you can't argue against that. Yes, you have some people who get on motorbikes and like ride motorbikes simply because they just have one more daredevil aspect to them. They love risky things. And a thrill, getting an adrenaline rush, and you have human beings like that. But for the most part, it's a decision based on being pragmatic. Public transport is not good enough, is not comfortable, not reliable enough. Fuel is too expensive. Nothing is being done about any of those two things. You know what we do? Find a solution. Independently, people that get scooters and motorbikes. Cost less investment, and there you go, less fuel. Come on, everybody they come. Mappa, Picnic, and everybody they on the same motorbike. Risk, danger. And one of the things that emerges out of the articles I've read indicate that one of the huge things is that the roads are not designed for motorbike riders. There's no the roads as presently designed, our roadways, our streets, our avenues, nothing in it, no have any consciousness of motorbike riders' utilization. We know this because the roads, streets, they never get designed for bicycles, very few. So in other countries, they have tried such things as something that's really popular in South America and now catching on in Asia is that they have actual motorcycle lanes. But to have any kind of lane, you would have to have lines. And to have lines, you have to have paint. Paint that one luxury that believes on highways. You only get put on when the highway just make. With a one paint job for a highway, one and done. We don't refresh that. So even before you start to consider lanes for motorbike, you have to consider the fact that we ain't got lines and lanes for vehicles. And you would notice that roadways will have proper paint and lighting that is more safe. That's natural. But we only got one paint job for gear, and when you just make, we got one set of reflectors to put on the roadway, and when you just pave, when then they go, and when the paint fade, that's it. You're there on your own. There was once a time when you get on the Hummingbird, you get on the Southern Highway. I remember the Southern Highway just put down. Because we used to have to travel every weekend to do practically football games down in Independence. And that I mean gravel and stone for Mose. And I remember when that road finally do. But that road, I mean, a pleasure to drive. The night, easy for maneuver because the reflectors, and they had these little reflectors on the side of the road, and as a driver you just feel more comfortable, in particular when you drive the night. You don't need to do no studies for no paint on the road make it safer, and you would end up in a situation where very few accidents that happen on what is now known as the Thomas Vincent Ramos Highway, formerly known as Southern Highway. And you have now where huge parts of that road no longer have any paint. Hummingbird, same thing. Then just the parts of the Philip Golson Highway when you go towards Orange Walk and between Orange Walk and Corzal and do some work. So right now, then they have paint and lines and some reflectors, but need a year or two. And then they fade off, wash away and deal with it in there and everything natural. We don't got no more paint for that. So if just the standard things there, we not got time for, we not got space for, we will think of new things. To take on the fact that every weekend, we the very people where they ride motorbikes. Every weekend. And sometimes during the week, we have to report per motorcycle fatality. That's 2024. And again, I do hope that, by talking about this occasionally for 15 or 20 minutes, that somehow we will have some kind of presentation when I say this team has been put together for look on how we could minimize this. So, a couple of the things where stand out to me on the articles I've read. Making the roadways better designed to accommodate motorcycle riders, minimizing speed, education, and attacking one of the main, what they call the number one reason for cars and motorbikes colliding: left turns by cars. So, left turn accidents between motor vehicles and motorcycles has been studied as being the leading, not saying you don't have different other ways they collide, but when a vehicle they in the right lane and they look for turn across the left, they do for left, if you go either into an intersection or into a parkway or down one lane, that when vehicles and motorcycles they get collision more than any other maneuver. Again, I am no expert, I just read that 2 days ago. Meaning me think that. But you got somebody, I don't know, I think that was on a study done in the United States. Again, for the level of motorcycle deaths go up. So they study it and try to adjust and address. And then figure out that one turn where we need to do some education pan. Because that when motor vehicles and motorcycles they collide, motorcycle coming in the next lane, we collide all different kind of way, but that's one of the most problematic maneuvers on the road. We don't deal with indicators. We are not indicator people. We not like that. There's a reason and purpose for the indicator. And so, it's really about, how we maneuver. We have to take personal responsibility, absolutely. But we have people who are supposed to be at the wheel, we address these things. We take this on head on and say, okay, we are do something about this. So, in my view, this is not a police department. This not dropped at Raccoon Street. We got the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we got the Ministry of Transport, and of course the police department got a part to play. They are to be assigned, responsibilities are to be delegated to them. based on the best advice coming out of the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Health and Wellness. Engaging high schoolers and tertiary level students in basic standard motorcycle education safety measures. Essential. You have to use education. And then you also have to be prepared to spend some resources to make sure that the level of safety on the roads are kept up. Can't only paint road one time and not that when you just make. You have to go back and do it again. Because the money where you spend on paint will save somebody's life. And that is real. It's 26 minutes after 7 o'clock inside the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Our telephone number is 280-5848. That's a live line for you to participate in the conversation. That is the greatest, obviously, I have one role, journalists have one role, media houses have one role, but we have one call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Yeah, morning, brother.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, well, since I put a conversation, I don't sound opportunity, but that I believe that since it started to ride up.
Mm-hmm.
You go all kind of system, you got a test that we God forbid you have that right now, we are a believe. That's why I'm a motorcycle rider. And I see all the youth and ride on. So I just want to know that I know the motorcycles are in the carpet all the time.
I agree with your brother. I agree that, like I said, there is the responsibility of the rider. You should want to reach home safely. And you should understand that riding a motorbike is a higher risk. It's one of the riskiest means of transportation. You can't get away from the fact that, yes, we want you to put on a helmet, but helmet no protect. You do have some man who got the body armor. Big up yourself, Palace. When Palace ride the motorbike, the man got on like a whole shell. But most people don't have on all of that or have that. They got a helmet. And even so, motorbike riders are exposed. And so you do have to learn how to deal with your bike, respect the danger, minimize your exposure to risk. If I made up a motorbike now, the move from point A to point B, I wouldn't do it that night, or I would do my best to not do it that night. Definitely wouldn't do it after partying. Definitely wouldn't go partying from a motorbike. And would do my best for not put on crowd from a motorbike, and obviously reduce speed. That, just having in your head, I know going higher than 140, 45. That would be great. So I don't disagree with you at all, brother, that personal responsibility is a part of this. But that said, that does not excuse negligence on the part of those who have been given the wheel, who have been contracted and are being paid at the wheel to serve, to plan, to implement, to make better. That does not take away that important responsibility. Right now it is 7:29, and we're going to go to 2 Cents Calm, sponsored by 4 Point Security. Then we take our first break, we come back. This is Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Wednesday morning. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house and hosting today on this Wednesday morning, 16th October 2024. Our telephone number is 280-5848. That's the live line for you to participate in the show. We've spoken on the matter of surveillance footage and access to surveillance footage, and we were on the record to say that we feel that the position taken by the elected member of House to not give up surveillance footage in the matter of investigation, that because you're talking here about somebody that is in a public, is a public figure and in a leadership position, that they have a responsibility to set examples. No, we fully understand. In that case we were talking here, we had been called a couple of days before where a caller had explained the situation that happened with an elderly woman being assaulted, and felt, and we were, all that she endured, and we felt, whoa, like this is not something we hope that somebody's going to be held accountable for this. Now we have a situation where the police officers decided to break into somebody's premises to get the surveillance because they felt that they will be denied, and the commissioner saying that he authorized this to be done and complain, and these folks are being charged with obstruction and are being accused of deleting the footage. No, we are kind of, that response is, in my view, that is unacceptable. Trying to ensure that there is a certain right that enforcement has to surveillance footage is something that the people who craft legislation and at the highest level of enforcement have to work out. They cannot decide, oh well, they want to be brute force and ignorance in dealing with the situation and disrespecting people who have their reasons for not, just as they have a reason for not wanting to testify. We have seen where the usage of camera surveillance cameras, that is a major thing all around the world in helping crimes to be solved and making public spaces safer. It's a major thing because there's a combination of public cameras, private cameras that create a network of camera and surveillance that, very often things are caught on camera now in 2024 around the world. Like, so much is caught on camera. Live things are happening and they are caught. And there is the type of technology that is able to use the most inferior kind of footage and use it to some degree of success. Krem, good morning, WB.
Morning, brother. Morning, police.
Greetings, sister. Give thanks. It's good to have company.
I know it's not. That's why I love when my Belizean people call him when I found WB. I don't mind back there at all because it's really rough. I got up late this morning, so I missed, most of the conversation so far. And I did note the loss of the youth. So I quickly got search online to see what the story about, and man, that's just tragic. That's just heartbreaking. There are no words. I give thanks for the community, for circle of family, and did the best they could. And that's all we could have made. hope for, ask for, is that the community did the best they could. But there's also an opportunity to say, if we find out what would have been the protocol for something like that. Do you call police department? Do you call the fire station? Do you call KHMH?
You should call 911, but the effectiveness, the efficiency of 911 comes with a question mark. People have complained about how centralized it is and what's the level, who's going to show up. I think the way it would work when it comes to something like that, if I'm to think about some of the big cities that I've visited, once you call 911, the respective police departments and fire department have people who are trained to respond to something like that, and they're all going to show up. It seems to me that there was a lack of the presence of trained personnel, especially in the early moments. It seems and I don't know, I'm not here, as I said earlier, sister, I'm not throwing stones at the emergency response, because I don't know, in that moment, whether a call was made, for example, that moment is such you're in panic mode, right? So you might not have, right? You just to tell everybody in the vicinity what just happened, and there's going to be just a response based on proximity. I could imagine that the who they wrong, they try. I guess eventually somebody might have tried to call some kind of one of these agencies to come in, but it's not something it seems we were prepared for, that we have that readiness for, and we have to accept that we have a lot of water space within the city itself. We have creeks, we have canals, and we have ponds, we have lagoons. Like we got a lot of places where and again, I agree with you that the community response has been, for the most part, favorable insofar as really showing a level of solidarity and empathy and feeling, genuine feeling. It's like, come on. But you do have those who are prone to rushing to judgment and blame, as a part of their response to the sadness that they feel. They feel like they get angry. You get angry that this has happened to a child, and you want to blame. And too often, the first person they want to blame are the parents, and blame them for negligence and all that type of thing. And I think that is highly inappropriate and completely in poor taste and judgment, in my view. You don't know much. We don't know details of this situation. We just know that this has happened to a child. Jumping to a conclusion of knowing that a parent has been a poor parent, like, come on. A 6-year-old boy is filled with wild, adventurous, exploring energy. And you take your eye 1 second, you want 6-year-old boy want to walk across the edge, want jump from one side to the next, want hang from a limb, want hang from the bridge sides. Like, that is what happens. And so, it's not about somebody has to be blamed and somebody was being a terrible person and somebody was just you don't know that. What you do know is that the first person we want to beat up themselves when this happened, want to be that parent. Want to be those parents, those family members, that person who was looking after that child, in this case, what they're saying. You don't need to come out now and play judge and play, what the situation is. But again, I think what's important is for us to say, are there signs among some of these water spaces to see, what the danger is. Like, again, we don't have that kind of attention to detail. And I think that is something that we can now turn our attention to if we are to turn our attention to anything.
Yes, I ask people for continue surround the family, and you make one valid point, Mose. As the parent or guardian responsible for that child, what their life will be like for the rest of their life.
Rest of their life.
And for the child himself to have lost his life at such a young age, and you really bring it home. And talk about, the child at that age, what a child want to do at that age, especially one boy child. It's a loss to the family, it's a loss to our community, a loss to believe. It's hard.
You had promised to call on Wednesday as a part of your campaign.
Even you to hold me accountable as you should.
Yeah.
That's interesting. People who hold me accountable. That's a part of we should, I believe. Not holding people who are elected or choose to lead accountable. And I appreciate you holding me accountable. Today is day 43, and should have been the first day of protest at the district education center on Mahogany Street. But as I age, I must get some more, overstanding, patience, I don't know. Maybe because Monday I'm on holiday, we sent in the letter requesting, asking, tell me what day I could come in with, because you have to send a letter when you want to protest permit. You send a letter first saying, why you want protest, why you want protest, the time you want protest. And then they will respond back and tell you when you could come in with the people who will have to sign up on the permit and your stamp. And up to yesterday, and I hear back from there, and then I busy to do other things, but this was different. That this has never happened before. I got a call from the police station, and the person said, well, I have to follow up because if you get the permit, then we won't have to assign officers. And so that's Tuesday. So I have to assign my officers. So I just check in with you. And I'm like, this is different. I have over 18 years, let's say 17 years of protest. I've never gotten a call like that. So I was really wowed. And the person gave me their name and number.
Somebody will look out for the interest of your protest.
From the police station.
Wow. Wow.
I read that. I tell people, because I worked in customer service for many years in the United States, thoroughly trained as a customer service representative. I really, the same way I hold people accountable, I give people compliments. I travel around the world. I send emails. I actually a supervisor name. I send emails. I know how much it matters to recognize people when they give good service as well. And I really value good service. And so I said to the person, and then I tend to, how I go. I know I always think two processes, and I say, yeah, here you go again. You want to protest every Wednesday. You've done this before, and it's really, people don't usually show up, and that's understandable for whatever reason, that's not right. And I'm like, yeah, how long it goes? You've done this before, yeah. When you do that protest with at the pit house, they say I think every Monday. I think I might have to keep it up for maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable. It really isn't. So I'm like, okay, no. Like, we could look back and learn. So I say, you know what? We can do every other Wednesday. So again, today shall be that Wednesday. So I said to the person who called me, I said, I want to work with the police department. And I go check the box and say, yeah, I had to work with them. I appreciate your call. Let's hope by that the police department respond back to that letter that we sent to them, so that the 30th of October would be the first protest day as relates to holding the government of Belize accountable, cabinet members accountable, the Ministry of Education accountable, as regards to hair discrimination in Belize. That the state has a duty to make it a policy based on the Constitution of Belize that never again will children who attend schools in Belize from kindergarten to tertiary level will ever again be discriminated based on their natural hair and their right to get one education. And not only for make it to a policy, also that the penalty for the violation of such policies be an extremely high financial cost. UEF recommendation is, after the policy passed, no excuse, no grace period. The first reporting of a hair discrimination, to say position, $50,000. The second one, $100,000. The third one, $150,000. Why? Because every time we've seen in Belize, in practice, that whenever there are laws and the penalties or fees for violating the laws, so we working class people are big money, but to the bag of money people, that are nothing. So they broke the law and pay the money. Whereas if the fees were extremely high, the intention is that they would make them think twice for violate the law or broke the law. So that's where we are, day 43, in holding the state accountable as far as, and then I can't remember, I never did the research before I called this morning. There was some other state, I can't remember where, it might have been, was it Puerto Rico? Mose, was you who had sent me that story?
Yes.
Who they didn't only look at it within the confines of the school. They looked at it within private and public sector as related to things like employment, healthcare, that people should not be discriminated upon based on their hair, if I remember correctly. So that because it doesn't only happen within the school system. So really, the state should look at this, and that's why you have to keep circling, that the state does not have the moral, ethical, legal right to speak on behalf of African descendants, racialized as black people in Belize. Does not. Why? It was the state who enslaved our African ancestresses and ancestors. We are, based on international law, we're considered the victims of the harm. And so the victims, the African descendants, racialized as black people, would be the people who speak for themselves to say how they want that harm to be repaired. Most of us, because of the system we're still living in, not even know, we know the harm because we live it every day, but we don't connect the harms that we live with every day. So the bigger harm of the kidnapping, human trafficking, enslavement of our people, and even of the so-called physical emancipation from chattel enslavement, August 1st, 1838, the harm continues, what we call with African ancestors, Bell Hooks talk about imperialist, capitalist, white supremacist systems of domination. So that everything interconnected will impact African descendants, racialized as black people lives in every area of we life. So even though August 1st, 1838 passed, the harm continues. And that's why you have, and UEF within Belize, nearly 90% Belize, outside of Belize, recognize, and again, UEF recognize and give thanks to our sisters and brothers in the UK who has been a stronghold in guiding us, teaching us about African reparations from within African heritage communities. And historically, African people have always resisted in different ways, as relates to African reparations, documented, resisted, and held states accountable for the harm they do to we and continue to do to we. So there's no way that one state, like the government of Belize, or so-called heads of states in a CARICOM could get together and say, we want to come up with movement capture. And again, it's never something I wear because I'm used to this African. And I just say all this to say, so what happened with that youth in that hotel in a canal? Us as African descendants, that community, for example, not knowing what to do to save their life. Everything will happen to African descendants visualized as black people will have us living this life that is not the best quality, have everything to do with the enslavement of African people. Every single thing. And that's why I said to people, the one who would criticize me as the whole, I encourage working class people in a blah, 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 because I like to run for the independence. I said, listen, working class people, impoverished African descendants, racialized as people, have one level of accountability. And I said, no, we do. But it's not compared to the state, international partners. It's like we keep on focused on the people instead of looking at the systems of oppression and domination that was designed to have people live hand to mouth like this. And so that's why it's important for everyday people get the sense that we have to start to study together, learn together, so that we have the knowledge to liberate with self and then hold other people who are in a power and influence, and a lot of kind of people look like we, what a part of who we betrayal and oppression. And so that's why when I was on WB last week, I know I'm going to run out of time because I really, we allow the callers. Internationally, I tell people with our community station, media house, the opportunity for calling and share that, it's showing the law, I think that's chapter 230 if I'm not mistaken, as it relates to the motor vehicle, the road permit for buses. It is another campaign we're going to start, that the more knowledge we have to understand how the law works, then we know who we hold accountable as it relates to the poor public bus transportation where they endanger for we lives consistently. And if we now do something different, like choose to study together, to then have the courage to operate not for we best interest. Because only the people I say to people, nobody now look out for we business like we do. And so UEF is, slow but sure, is being recognized as one of the few, if not only countries in the Caribbean who continuously holler that the government of Belize not have the right to speak on behalf of African descendants, that the government of Belize through CARICOM not have the right. So when representatives come from the Giselle group and from UWI talking about wanting to meet with the UEF, and it looks fine because the Belize outer world, only UEF has been consistent in word and deed advocating for African descendants racialized as black people, because we took up the mantle of United Black Association for Development. So because of Zinc Fence really amplify UEF work for black people, I believe that, Zinc Fence, because we have our own media house, that's a big blow we have for when it comes to working for African people locally, is because we got our own media house. So because we got our own media house, we could make lots of noise, and again, UEF are just 28 years old. Amanda 55 years old, and nobody that believes, no organization, nobody that believes, jump high, jump low, can touch their 55 years that we advocate for African people. So, because UEF, they hold the state accountable, and we need to stop. Some people are paying attention. Nothing to CARICOM not to pay attention. They might not answer when I say, they might not say nothing, but they know that we can say, we don't have the right. But then the problem becomes, again, these are big forces. We have limited resources that the state, then they have what we call movement capture. You have people coming with a bag of money, and, people, they need the resources. What happened is like what happened with the environmental NGOs, I would say. People know they're not putting in focus. Whatever the agenda is for the funders become the NGO focus. So you have people who, still up there represent African descendants, racialized as black people, I believe. But then because they need the funding, here what they do? you know, send out press release. How you want to say you represent black people, I believe, and nobody don't know what you do. The media house did it for a reason. But you make a funder come in the country, you might say them and you start a funder come in and get some money. But make a show no example of movement capture and going I know that the past break time.
No, that past the time, so I have to go to break.
Alright, I'll call back.
Okay, man, respect. It's 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. We take a break. We will be back. All right, welcome back. WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house with you on this Wednesday morning, 16th October 2024. And our telephone number for you to join in the conversation is 280-5848. You are invited to join in, tell us what's going on with you. I was in the middle of just describing, what made the news last night. This matter of a family that apparently has surveillance cameras, and the footage was desired by the police in a matter of an investigation. I think into a murder investigation. And the police commissioner saying that he instructed and supports the idea that if you're reluctant with the footage, they are going to come for it. And they obviously hopped the fence and went for the footage. And then they're claiming that the footage was altered, or that that some of the video was deleted. One has to understand. So there's a difference to me. I strongly oppose to a public figure. We had this, the conversation was brought up about the situation with the College area representative and his reluctance and making it into a stand of virtue that, the crime he's not responsible for, fixing the problem of crime which the government has as its responsibility. Something to that effect that said in the House. But the reality is that surveillance footage and security cameras, and the footage that they capture are a major part of trying to hold people accountable for bad action in public spaces. Obviously, cameras don't work on things that happen within a house unless the cameras are inside and you're able to see what's going on. And some business establishments and some homes have cameras within them. Point though is that an average citizen who has footage of something that has happened faces the same risk that they have to go to court to testify that they do in turning over this footage, undoubtedly. There has to, I don't know, I have not verified the legislation to know if there is legislation in place that makes it clear that in the matter of investigating a crime, individuals' security cameras and surveillance footage, that the police has clear rights to it. If you don't have extremely clear legislation, and if you don't build relationships with people for them to understand that the security cameras, so why do we have security cameras? Security cameras have worked to catch people who have broken into homes and all of that. And the reason people have security cameras is a part of their protection and safety. And so most people are going to be willing to share footage if it's something to do with somebody has broken into a property, somebody has stolen we know, for example, we had a case with the Lord Rayburn, who was knocked down, and there was footage to show, and I believe I spoke with the Lord, and he explained to me that they have, figured out who it was, and there's a whole process now to try to navigate that. I don't know how far that has gone, but he did explain to me that, they were able to and whatnot, and the footage around played a part. But there was some indication of not going to get the footage from a certain place and being uncomfortable. So the question then becomes, if do you step on big and connected people the way you step on these people to just jump and go into their homes and take the footage? For me, that is that there is no way for that to happen. You cannot say, well, we have a warrant and we are just booking and we the comfort what we the comfort. I can't. I don't look that is a acceptable way to deal with the dilemma. I completely agree that surveillance footage more and more is becoming more instrumental and very key to deal with making these open spaces safer, especially since there is no way for you to protect eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness testimony is now a thing of the past. the bigger the crime, the bigger the matter, the less likely you're going to get eyewitness testimony. So now you're relying on surveillance footage. Legislation, in my view, must not have caught up, because people have blatantly said, I won't share, and unless there's a warrant. In this case, there was a warrant. Apparently, that's what we're being told. But even if you have a warrant, there's a level of just respect that you have to have. Ultimately, what you want to do is to create relationships, because the state did not buy the security cameras for this family. That's their investment. This is their property. Still remains their property. Their home remains their property. They have rights. And when you have to approach people that way, to me, something is completely broken here. And it's a matter that has to be addressed and has to be fixed. Because, again, we are living in the age where surveillance footage is actually going to be like so critical. And if we don't have an environment, an enabling environment, where there is that sense of sharing and a sense of responsibility, as well as backed up by the legislation clearly, unambiguously, you don't have to figure it out. Everybody understand if I have a camera footage upon it where enforcement need, there is no option that has to be shared. Like, if the legislation is not that clear, then the police can decide, well, oh, we want to be physical about it, we want to be brutish about it, we just want to buck in, take with thing. That can't be the way that this is going to work out. So again, the people who write laws, the people who are tasked with taking on the matter of our security and our safety and our well-being, are the ones who, you can't left this to, oh yeah, I want to jump the fence like that. Like, and traumatize this family. Like, they don't have to deal with the reality upon the street. They don't have to deal with now the fact that they have been out there as the ones who got the tape. Like, so they are being compromised. It's really, to me, just looking at that whole situation, that has become a real big mess, and an acceptable big mess, and unnecessary if there is the kind of tidiness in how we go about meticulously clearing the pathway for the best chances to get what is required to hold bad actors accountable. Going forward, we know for a fact that surveillance footage is big all around the world. And these places invest more and more in the state-owned surveillance footage in public spaces, not the one camera, two camera. Like, the public spaces are bombarded. You don't even know where the cameras are. Make something happen there. They got about 20-25 video angles, because they understand this is how we make sure that we minimize. And if it's something happening in our bedroom, that's a different thing. If something happened in the bush, but in city streets and in prominent places, like, you can't have one, like places like, say, BTL Park, or places like, popular, like, you just lay it out with cameras. So is that a tremendous tool for law enforcement? 100. The state should be investing hand over fist in them. They should just, and even they announce it, like, we will have one going breaking from a camera. So everybody know, okay, one camera there. It's like, just be about it, do it, and you'll want to rely less on privately owned cameras, but we also need to make the legislation come out clear and very, very available to people for them to understand. This is what we do for the safety and protection of everybody. But now putting yourselves in the wrong, because that's my view, is completely put themselves in the wrong to what they have done in the way they've dealt with this family and their surveillance footage. WUB, good morning.
Morning, sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, no.
Before the break.
Yeah.
So the point that I make to the Belizean people, African descendants, racialized as people in particular, the only we want to say we have to get more knowledgeable to look after for best interests. And one of the points I'm going to make before I go on a break, before the baby on a break, is something that they call movement capture. It's where funders come in and redirect the interest of one individual, whether they work on behalf of others or organization. So, make I show you an example where, in this case, it's not like necessarily an individual funder, like a known funder, the largest philanthropic organization in the world. It's called Open Society Foundation. So Open Society, I mean, one of the bag of money people will fund the CARICOM African Union so-called reparation conversation in November of last year. And UEF is in communication with Open Society Foundation. They have offered bags of money. And there's a reason why UEF not take the money. Now, you don't mean that we not trickle down for OAS money, for Open Society money. Because there are other like UEF who has worked with Global Legal Action Network. And I've said this before, primarily European people from Europe who work with other groups of people seeking justice, let's say environmental justice. So the Grenada land actors this past week went on a major judgment where will impact people in the Caribbean, where the state said that Grenadian people can hold the government accountable when it comes to environmental matters. It's outstanding. Earlier this year, the Barbudan land defenders, the Privy Council made a significant ruling. So, Glenn got money from Open Society Foundation, and then with that money, I was able to travel to Barbuda in May to be in solidarity and protest for the CICA meeting when I had Antigua, where the developers who are violating the rights of Barbudans were invited by the state of Antigua and Barbuda to that CICA meeting.
Hello? All right, you got cut off, sister. Yeah, hello.
The call got dropped. The people themselves who were violated, the Barbudans, were not invited to the table. And so I just said to Belizean, like that, the biggest funder in the world. Open Society has also been identified as one group of bag of money people where they fund NGOs, the IT, not in the interest of the grassroots people that the peer called in last Friday in WUB and talked about. So like that's one example that you know, a big funder. No, make I show one, not a funder where it might not be identified as a funder, but it's a funder. It'd be the government of Belize. Before August 1st was recognized as a public and bank holiday for African Emancipation Day in 2021, UEF led with excellent community support to recognize that moment, not knowing that in 1888 were people in the Belize as well. When we would have the community conversations in the evening of August 1st, we had good size, good turnout, people came. But when August 1st, 2021 came, and the state made it a public and bank holiday, and based on principle, UEF chose not to work directly with the state, then the state needed one black face to work with them. Here comes National Creole Council, who was not active at the time, do not lead with being African descendants racialized as black people. They don't lead with it, just like NGC don't lead with it, but they recognize them black and care what on it, but they don't lead with it the way UEF does. And Vincent has. That then became the placemaker for the black organization because UEF now work with the state. Knowing National Creole Council, knowing that is not what they lead with, that is not the work they've been doing systemically. They're more into culture, as what Ada described as performance culture, for whatever it's worth. So now that's at the face where the state they run with. And then because now they become one bashment. On August 1st, we have food stands. No, the state, the fund this, you know. This is what I'm showing one. Not a funder, but another. And the state UEF has accepted money from the state in organizing our African Emancipation Day, which we have a right to, and it's the state's duty. But it's to show people. So now, since the state doesn't have bashment for August 1st night, let people come to the intellectual conversation, the community talk that UEF has. capture. So you're seeing the same thing happening with funders, with CARICOM, with the UN. So for example, I said it's not going. The OAS have one delegation on the ground right now in Belize, right? The same OAS want to respond to none of Belize territorial volunteers' letters. The same government of Belize want to text the Guatemalan Armed Forces ramming Belize territorial volunteers' boats, threatening Belizeans' lives. Want to text for the legitimate, documented concerns seriously. The same OAS is now on the ground. I think today they meet with indigenous people. Friday they meet with African descendants, racialized as black people. Friday they meet the old Belize 9 o'clock. Now, this is on the invite you, so that's based on invitation, right? So, again, I just said to people who said to represent black people at Belize. Who can I say to represent black people at Belize and only communicate with the people that want to represent the Belize? We are the only media host in the country. We are the only African, media majority only in the country, yes. But other media hosts, the power could go and say, listen, this is what we did do for black people. And so, again, because of the work UF has been doing consistently, I said to people, like I said when I went to Antigua at the end of May, I can't remember the name of the known organization, Movement Capture Again. I said, listen, UAF would generally not be invited to spaces like these because we challenge organizations like these, because these are status quo organizations who keep the show and bag of money at a certain group of people, like they one with a lifetime consultant. But we on the ground not see the impact. We don't see it. That's why UEF stop being active in our cargo. Yeah, you travel, you stay in a hotel, you meet people, you take pictures, you get per diem, but what is it doing for the people on the ground that we claim to represent? Nothing. So I just take this opportunity to say to Belizean people about this meeting Friday. Now, again, then people invite me, and I usually go, because I don't see why go? You hear me more? Why go on anything? You ever hear anybody go on anything and something meaningful happen for the community afterwards more?
I maintain, I say that, yes, go. I'm glad to know you're going. That's my answer. And I stick by it. I'm glad to know you're going.
And you don't want to. You either be is kind of fun one day.
I don't want to day.
Remind me, no, remember now people are telling the street, I prefer no, they're not safe spaces. They're not safe spaces for people who do work like me. But why, this year, one of the years, I had to humble myself.
Oh boy.
Why you say for go more?
You have to engage, man. You have to engage.
Why
Because if only the unsincere engage, then you're the look upon these agencies have failed. To some extent they fail because of the original mandate. And the source of money and the power that's behind it. But the other reason why they fail is also that their initiatives that they put out are being guided by only hands that are not about creating results. So even if your entry at a meeting is 30 minutes long and it's all contentious, the residue of that contention and that engagement is going to make, in my view, their initiatives better. And that's inevitable. That's how I see it. It's kind of like reverse contamination, where we are going to contaminate an initiative with beneficial energy. We're going to contaminate it with genuine commitment, and so the complete failure is going to be minimized just by that, just by contact. I feel like contact is essential, and we not change their mandate, and we not change where they're behind it, but we not stop the initiative. So nothing wrong with influence initiatives, and we continue with our own journey, we continue with our own initiatives, we continue with our own thing. At the end of the day, water to one cup of water, than a cup of water, whether it come from one good person hand or one bad person hand. A cup of water and a cup of water, and if we could make sure that cup of water where it come from a bad person hand not got in germs and so, then we're wrong with just they are telling that germs that they put in there. Then they not got no excuse when they do hand with germs. They know that we know that that's the intention anyway. But we have to do them, man. I believe we have to do it. We have to do it in these spaces, and even if we just to find out what they really talk about and what they really want to do, and meet them right that day one, buck them right that day one. I don't believe in the spirit of isolationism. I believe that there are ways that we could take over some of these processes, which you have done, which you have successfully done, by the way. So I think you have enough evidence right there in your journey if you say the occasional benefits of engagement.
Indeed, I just know trying to take one. I ask for the prayers and people were do.
Remember that the people were to serve every single day, and then they get up in our uncomfortable space. Every day in existence, and they have to figure out how to survive in our uncomfortable space.
True.
So
true.
uncomfortable space, it's like par for the course.
Thanks for that reminder. I ask you to keep me in a good vibration. Friday morning, 9 o'clock, they ended up Belize and make one. I mean, need to hear say that again. I just knew, is kind of engaged, but there was something specifically you had said about engagement. I mean, is it there no change without engagement? Something like that you may say.
Yeah, but I think I said, maybe I said it more succinctly, if I may use one. I said it more in a more compact way the last time. I think I kind of put it out there a little bit more, no? So, yeah.
Which is good. I need to hear it, especially when I'm resistant to it. Because I know where I'm going, but I'm going. Know that. And I appreciate you, repeating the lessons, because that's how I learn. Even though I resist, that's how I learn. And I thank you. I give thanks again to African ancestors and ancestors that we have this space to Belizean people. Keep being a prayers for libation.
I'll tell you this, right? As you mentioned, is that in 1998, at the height of my, what I would call entertainment lane, 1998 was just about when I now come out of that entertainment lane and start getting on them processes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the things where steer me out of that lane, that me decide just out of one letter coin from the OAS, they invite somebody from Creme to go down journalist thing the Ecuador. And at the time I don't involve no journalists. I don't know a journalist. I don't even think I know a journalist now. But I say, and I don't into anything. Like I don't into none of any letters and things. I say, make I go for the heck of it. So I just decided to go. without expectations, without any idea of what it be. Like, I had no idea. And I never have no, and you know, I don't come up in our environment with part. I won't grow up with any great affection for the OAS. Like I know, I never ever have that mindset. Even when I was mad worker, just me, I know. Yeah, there are nothing where there are no organizations where I feel or got any connection to. But I was gone. You invite you, oh, you want somebody fire? Okay, I go in. I gone, met journalists, real journalists from the Caribbean, from Latin America, and was, you know, it was held at the university in Ecuador, and I don't know whether I'm for them purpose for it. I don't know whether I'm in the motives, whether they, you know, whether they plans, whether they schemes and a strategy when they put them together. All I know is that that experience of just they in that space and they engage with students from the university. Several stories were happened there where had an impact on me, and I would have said that even without they know, to some extent, the OAS trip had an influence on the fact that within 1 year after that trip, that when I started host WUB, which would be 1999, I went on that trip in around September, October of 1998, and I was doing WUB by December of 1999. This December is going to make the 25th anniversary of the WUB. Trust me when I forgot Shingding. We have to pat we own back. That's how this thing go. But somebody could get a motive for one thing, but that no control where you make come out of one thing. That would have been my point, no?
Respect, brother. As always, I appreciate the guidance.
Yeah.
Honor the people and save the people.
All right, respect. We go to break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house with you on this Wednesday morning, 16th October 2024. And we are shrinking insofar as time. We still have time for maybe just one more person to jump in. If not, we go into our last break. You know how things work around here. We try to run it tight, keep it in. Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. This morning we've just to recap, if you're just joining us, I don't know what took you so long. You've missed out. We've been, of course, like most people in Belize, we have joined in this communal sadness that we face. Genuinely, we know that people feel it. When I heard the story of this 6-year-old boy that ended up drowning after falling into the canal here in Belize City, I just know that the parents, family, siblings, potentially, I don't know if he has siblings or just his immediate family, classmates, school, I just imagine this is just the worst, unimaginable anguish. And we just know that I think that Sister pointed out, the community reaction is a thing. We rate it, we respect it, that just as you could imagine, most people can just have shared a bit of that pain and just not even knowing the child, just knowing, no way, it's not. That's just too painful and too sad. And so we've experienced that. We spoke a bit about, again, for yet another morning. Unfortunately, we are forced to talk about motorcycle more than we would want to, because of just the number of, especially young, productive lives that are being cut short as a result of these motorbike accidents. And so we engaged on that a bit, and then we had Sister Yaya come in and engage in some issues related to her advocacy work as chairperson of the UBAD Educational Foundation. And then we spoke a bit about the situation where the police has had to act in our view, an unacceptably hostile and aggressive way to deal with security surveillance, camera surveillance footage. And it just speaks to the need for there to be a lot of clearing up on that matter. What we are going to do is to take a final break, come back and wrap up for today. All right, Billy, it's 9 o'clock and we are out. Give thanks for all who joined, listened, watched, especially those who took the time out to subscribe to YouTube. We got to remind you of that. XTV Believes. We acknowledge and give thanks to the team, Larry G at Creme Radio, and at XTV The Glue, Mr. Cliff Lewis, our director this morning, Miss Alexi Belai. We hope you have a great Wednesday. As always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we gone!
Wake up, Belize. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show by people. Believe our hopes are to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will free up and like I got blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize.